And now black has to move back with the king against the idea of f5, but f5 on the board. Expecting that to happen, or will Magnus just play around a little bit, enjoy his position, shift the rook, shuffle?
I think both strategies are viable here. You can shuffle, you can wait, but pawn to f5, played by Magnus Carlsen, is the most direct attempt to win. He wants to get two connected pass pawns together. A trick there from Jan, a deflection tactic, but ultimately this capture comes with a check. White's going to be 3 pawns up. Yes, the pawns are a bit ugly, separated here, not connected, but this is more than enough.
Look at the speed with which Magnus is playing. It's like he studied these endgames when he was 3 years old. He's got them at the back of his hand. He has barely taken any time to think of a single move or the plan forward. And he's played it to accuracy. You know, you don't see the bar going down even once. Not a single inaccuracy in this endgame by Magnus. All best moves.
This is his
That's
favorite
how
thing
good
to
he
do.
is.
Yeah, he just loves playing these endgames here too. It's also, they say in the endgame, it's easier to calculate, but it also takes a lot to calculate because there's so many moves that can be played here. Rather than a middle game where you have a few options, you calculate those. But in the end game, there's lots of options, but it also is a lot of calculation as well. We got these extra 2 pawns here. This one's a clean one. Very easy for Magnus.
Yeah, and for the black king, it's caught in 2 minds here. He will have to stay in the center of the board with his king, Ian Nepomniachti, because of white's e-pawn. But ultimately, one of the 2 pawns is going to act as a deflection. One is going to decoy the black king and rook away. And then it's going to be the other pawn that wins. Magnus just choosing which pawn to bank his hopes on. He's pushing them both in tandem here. The white king cut off temporarily, but it can start moving across.
You could also move the h-pawn now 1 step forward. A capture on that, and then there are checks to answer as well. So he could go for tactics. He could go for a slower approach right now. Either way is Magnus Carlsen making this look clinical. He's making it look easy. Let me tell you, if I had this position with the white pieces, I would have bungled it up into a draw a long time ago. But just the way he plays, and he goes for the idea of 8-7.
Yeah, I only see one trick here for Ian Nepomniachti, that is to run the black king into the corner somehow and hope for stalemate. Hope to give up the black rook, a kamikaze rook as they call it, as long as there are no checks. But ultimately, Magnus will not fall for that one. And what to even play here? I'm expecting him to bring his king across to stop that white h-pawn. Of course, if you take that white h-pawn, you get skewered. The white rook steps up to the 7th rank with a check, a rook trade, and it will be game over. Okay, Jan does guard the pawn with his king. Magnus...
Oh, this idea. Maybe he goes like... Oh, he goes check first. Okay.
Ooh.
6.
Goes forward with the king. I thought he'd go into the corner and hope for stalemate there. But now black is frozen. The pawns are coming.
I think he's about to resign. How do you even answer this? You've got to go king to f6, closer to that e-pawn. The rook holds the h-pawn. The king holds the e-pawn.
Oh, you just go e7, I think. e7, this is a nice move.
Yeah.
If king f7, you can queen and then rook check, which is nice.
Tactics everywhere.
Or even rook check.
Even with 3 pieces on the board.
Yeah.
Love it, James.
Very nice.
And we might see queen versus rook if Magnus pushes his e-pawn right now. He'll promote, but black might be able to grab some material in the meantime. We see a check. White king forced back.
Oh, 10 seconds for Magnus, though. I think we're going to have the king and queen versus king and rook.
There it is.
It's happening. But the rook is going to be very disconnected from the king. Will Magnus find a way to...
He played that move with 2 seconds left, by the way. And Magnus, he was thinking about promoting to a knight with check, but it didn't quite work. And now the black king and rook so far apart.
And there can be dangerous checks that end up winning the rook, and he's got to get the black rook close to the king.
He's getting jumpy, Magnus. He's made a couple of moves now with 1-2 seconds left on his clock. He made the last move with 1 second left. And, okay, he pins the black rook. He's closing in, but there are some stalemate tricks here. If you walk too close, you need to keep your queen and king and knight move away from each other. That tends to be the trick. Magnus just trying to gain time on the clock, though. Very professional.
And he's managed to get those extra couple of seconds. He's also moved his queen far away, so no ideas of stalemate just yet, but that's the one trick that white has to be careful about in these positions, as Jan tries to achieve those setups by getting his king to the corner.
Yep. Oh, Jan leaning back. He knows that the net is closing around the black king. He has to cut him off on the 6th rank here. But there we go. Checkmate imminent. Jan resigns. Magnus takes the first win.
That was awesome. I mean, Magnus actually played an incredible game. Even played. Bishop takes f4, maybe to start, to get rid of something.
Barely move.
Takes, queen c2, knight f3. There's Rook E8 in there.
Everything looks like it's winning right now. The black queen, the black knights, they're so active. Loose pieces do drop off, so as you pointed out there, James, the only black piece that's misplaced is that rook that Magnus moves. He's not calculating anything. He's just improving his pieces constantly and waiting for the tactics to fall in his favor.
Rook D2 is coming too.
And he didn't even have to go around to pick up Jan's exchange. Jan was forced to give up his rook for that knight because the f3 pawn was hanging. And now that's a lot of material, an extra pawn, an extra exchange, and beautiful pieces against the white king. Look at the way Jan's bishops are shut off. That bishop on g3, bishop on g2. No play. Denied game.
Oof, I think we're going to see a handshake in the next few moves, next few minutes. Magnus now has a very pleasant choice to make. The white knight is trying to jump over towards the c4 square with a family fork, hitting the black queen. But there we go. It is removed. Magnus gives back some of the material. But, of course, he's going to emerge with a two-pawn advantage and an ongoing attack. The black rook trying to land on the second rank. This looks over. How to fight on?
Yeah, you don't. In fact, this is nothing. The bishops are terrible. Even if my bishop was good, I don't have any targets. C7 is locked down pretty nicely. Rook E1, that's very good. You can do knight takes G2, whatever you want. Do anything.
And White's rook needs to stay on the first rank. There are checkmating ideas on G1 that White has to watch out for. Just everything in the position has gone wrong for Jan. He's down on the material.
Great.
He's about to be down that king on H2. You know, black just lined up beautifully. Every single piece placed to perfection. There are ideas of taking on H4, take on G2, pick up material on H4.
On G5, maybe throw an H4. You can do anything. This is crazy because I have no moves. Yeah, he threw an H4 there, which is brilliant. But
you take that pawn, knight takes bishop, and the bishop falls.
Takes check, king H1 and H3 and resignation.
I think this is over. This is over for Jan.
We're going to see one or two last moves. Magnus's queen moves in. A pawn deflects the light squared bishop away. There will be a capture now.
Rook E2 is nice.
Oh, there we go. It's a double attack, and Magnus takes a second win. He goes 2 points to 0 up in the Champions Chess Tour Finals.
Yeah, Jan didn't have a chance there, Connie. That's crazy.
And this time there was no analysis post-game. Jan immediately gets up and leaves.
You don't. I think it's that simple. We see the shaking of the head. He's down under 4 minutes now, Ian Nepomniachti. He might just try to go down in flames here. There's simply nothing to do. You don't want to get checkmated, of course. You don't want to be remembered for a checkmate in the final of a big event like this, but it's inevitable. It's too late. He castled into the firing line. No way back.
He literally castled into getting checkmated. You know, you castled to get your king to safety, but this was the most unsafe position for the king. Jan knows it, Magnus knows it. These are the last few moments of the Champions Chess Tour Finals.
Yeah, Magnus, he has so many ways to cash in, to break through towards that black king, which is devoid of defenders.
How is this guy?
Ringing out again.
They're like, yo, resign, bro. Like, this is hilarious. It's great to have the live audience, too. It's amazing. But, yeah, I mean, it's just clearly over here. Nothing. And black has no pieces really developed on the back rank. I mean, you have the bishop. Okay, you have you have knight and bishop on E7 are developed, but it's really it. It's nothing else. How do you stop this attack? You just don't. Bishop takes H6 is coming. You can try knight takes E3. That's fine. I go queen takes and maybe a queen B3, trying to trade the queens off.
Do you think he's going to resign?
I think he might be tempted. He's fighting every urge in his body to resign, Ian Nepomniachti. If this weren't the final game, I think we might have already seen a handshake and Jan moving on.
It's 2.5 minutes. He does make a move, takes that bishop, will be recaptured by the queen. The rook is lining up next. Jan trying to break free with that move F5. You could bring the rook into the attack. Rook G3, F4 is guarded, G7 under fire, H6 under fire, Jan's king under fire.
That's a resi on the spot. Rook F7, Queen H2. That's a resi for yikes. Give me brilliant, very quick game.
It's coming. The white queen now captures a pawn. There's a pin here. He defends with all his might, all of his remaining strength in the finals here. Ian Nepomniachti, he's got the big square covered.
Is knight G5? We sack the queen. Knight takes C6. No, not yet.
It's coming in next. He simply sidesteps. There's no attack on the queen. Knight G5.
And it's a handshake. Magnus Carlsen wins the 2024 Champions Chess Tour Finals. Nepomniachti there going down in flames. It was Magnus, of course it was, for the 5th year in a row. So impressive.